Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Co-Host, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Toledo, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Breaking, the IDF works to implement Trump's plan. So Trump has a plan for Gaza, and the plan is right now to bomb the hell out of everybody, kill children, literally wiping out children. When they bomb a building, most of the people killed are children between 0 and 9 years old. Did you know that? The most shocking message to the people of Gaza so far, the Israeli army dropped leaflets over Gaza, and here was the message. The message was, to the people of Gaza, after what happened and the end of the temporary ceasefire, and before we start Trump's compulsory plan, which we will proceed with, whether you like it or not, this is the last call for anyone who may share information with us in return for financial support. Reconsider this. The world map will not change if Gaza's people disappear. No one will notice you. No one will ask about you. These are leaflets that Israel's dropping on the people of Palestine. Neither America nor Europe cares about Gaza. Even the Arab states, they are our allies. They provide us with money, oil, and arms. They only send you shrouds. The game will end soon. So that's pretty evil. That reads like one of those notes scribbled together with magazine cutout words that psychopaths send to the police, making fun of them because they know they can't do anything about it. That's what that reads right. These people are psychos, and so are the people who support them. And I say treat them according. Here it is. Here's the leaflet that they dropped, and that's what it said.
They forgot to call them Hamas, and they just said to the people of Gaza. I thought they just mad at Hamas.
Right? Yeah, now it's just the people of Gaza. And so here's Israeli politician Hanok Midwitsky. Boy, that doesn't sound like a Jewish... That sounds like a guy from Eastern Europe. But anyway, here's what he has to say.
Most of the hostage families are against resuming the war. Most of the Israeli public is against resuming the war.
So everybody's against resuming the war, but they're doing it anyway.
Why is your government doing it?
None of the so-called facts you just stated are correct. Some families are against. I don't judge the families, not at all. But looking about Israeli strategy,
the families of the hostages are against resuming the war. And it's not a war. They mean resuming carpet bombing families in their homes. That's what they call a war. The people whose families are the hostages, they're against it. Okay.
We cannot have Hamas stay in Gaza. We're not going to leave our sons and grandchildren to deal with their sons and grandchildren. We're going to end this now.
How are you going to end it?
You're going to conquer Gaza.
You're not good.
We're going to conquer Gaza, and we're going to work together with our American allies in starting the Trump plan for
ethnic cleansing. But a lot of people would say.
A lot of people would say, I don't care about what a lot of people would say. I care about what we say. I care about our interests.
Netanyahu has his own priorities. It looks as if the hostages are not the top of his priorities. And this is why things are not being done the way the majority of Israelis would have wanted it to be done.
It has been proven that only military pressure brings a good deal.
A year and a half of very intense war with a lot of civilian casualties in Gaza shows that it's not possible to militarily alone defeat Hamas.
By the way, they had a good deal. They had a deal. They had a ceasefire deal. It was 3 stages, and in each stage they released hostages, and at the end of the 3rd stage, all the hostages would be released. Israel broke that. Now, that's not me saying that. That's the Israeli newspaper Haaretz saying that. They say that Israel broke it, just like they've broken every ceasefire deal. So if you think Hamas broke the ceasefire deal to release the hostages, you've been propagandized, and that's why you're watching this show, so I can debunk that propaganda for you and free your mind. That's what this is. Okay. And he's saying, you've been doing this for a year and a half. You've been slaughtering people indiscriminately, killing whole families at once, 2,000-pound bombs, bombing refugee camps, bombing tents, snipering children in their head. Well, how much worse could it get?
Year and a half under the Biden administration that forced us to fight Hamas with one hand, but to feed them with the other. So I can tell you that now the war is going to be handled in a totally different way with the Trump administration, with the backing of America. Trump himself said numerous times that all hell should break on Gaza if they're not bringing back all hostages.
What does unleashing hell look like? I mean, you've already seen under, as you say, the Biden administration.
You know, he keeps saying that Trump keeps saying all hell is going to break loose, and I still don't know which character he's playing from the Bible. I really don't know.
Daily death tolls of around 400 people a day.
You will see exactly what it means.
Yeah, so they're slaughtering about 400 people a day, just killing them, slaughtering them. And Trump is cheering it on. White House, Trump fully supports Israel's Gaza slaughter. And look how nice their pressed white shirts are. Look how nice they are. Isn't that? The U.S. and Israel are blaming Hamas for the lack of continued ceasefire and hostage release. Of course they are. And they're lying. Trump and Netanyahu are lying. But it was Israel that repeatedly violated the deal signed in January, which would have led to the release of all the Israeli hostages, a permanent truce, and Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. But that's what they don't want to withdraw from Gaza, which is why Israel keeps breaking the ceasefire agreement. Levitt, that's the president's secretary, said Trump fully supports Israel and the IDF and the actions they've taken in recent days because Trump is a cuck to Israel and he's Israel first. So he's once again betraying MAGA. Hope you can deal with that because that's what this is. And there's a list of reasons why Netanyahu cannot afford to get the hostages back. He doesn't want the hostages back because if he gets the hostages back, then he has to pull out of Gaza and he can't take over Gaza and the West Bank and he can't keep slaughtering people. So if he
might get to war with Iran.
Yeah, and then we'll never get to
a long game.
And we'll never get to war with Iran. The whole point is this is so we can also get to war with Iran.
It's not just Gaza they want. They want the greater Israel.
They want greater Israel. On Wednesday, the State Department also affirmed that the administration's unconditional support for Israel. State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce said U.S. will stand with Israel in every circumstance.
Great.
Why
would you be loyal to a country that would leave you hostage like that?
Right.
Why would you be loyal to a country that had a Hannibal directive?
So the new expression is changing from my country, right or wrong, and now it's going to be my country, but still right or wrong. Okay.
Yeah, wrong is right, my country is what that is.
When asked about the massive child casualties and the Israeli bombing, Bruce pinned the blame on Hamas. So it's a shame that Hamas has allowed this to occur.
They allowed it?
You mean they abided by the ceasefire agreement? But look nowhere else other than the people who have facilitated this suffering from the beginning.
Bibi Netanyahu paying Hamas for 20 years? You absolute fucking punks.
This is like an abusive husband who keeps shouting at his wife, it's a shame how you're forcing me to punch you in the face.
That's Golda Meir's quote. We will never forgive them for forcing us to kill their children.
That's right.
That's big of you.
And here's what Kurt was just talking about. Why Israel's Netanyahu encouraged suitcases of cash for Gaza. I didn't support Hamas. Netanyahu did. So he could do this exact thing. How many times do you have to be told this? Israel drove suitcases stuffed with cash into Gaza to keep Hamas in power. They did that. Qatar sent millions to Gaza for years with Israel's backing. Here's what we know about the controversial deal. So
it's called Gutter. That's how you pronounce it. Gutter. And also, remember Ian Carroll got smeared as working for Gutter?
Yeah.
Well, that would be the same as working for Israel, wouldn't it?
Bruce claimed that the administration wants peace, but President Trump has emboldened Netanyahu and his government by supplying huge amounts of military aid and repeatedly calling for the permanent expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza instead of pressuring Israel to implement the deal it signed in January. So there you go.
And by the way, the reason but we got $6 billion more military spending to go to these assholes. So Doge didn't do anything. It literally did nothing. By the way, they probably never were putting on a transgender play in Guatemala. I'll bet that wasn't even a real thing that anybody made.
So Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. You hate
Netanyahu for 20 years.
Yep.
So when Trump said promises made, promises kept, that meant to Israel.
He meant to Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, not to you. And he meant to Sheldon Adelson's wife.
Miriam.
The widow Adelson.
Yeah, the widow Adelson. Yep. So those are the promises Trump's keeping. As Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted out, nobody voted for this. Nobody voted for this bombing in Yemen. Nobody voted for his threatening Iran. Nobody voted for his keeping a genocide going in Gaza. Nobody voted for this.
They're not going to let you vote for something important.
That's right. Okay.
You can only vote for unimportant things, like who's the president of America.
Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohost, New York, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Toledo, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.